Hi, I'm Alan Sheffield, one of the co-founders of myDNA. I started the business with my father, who's a clinical geneticist, and he spent the last 30 years bringing genetics from research into clinical practice. One of his real passion areas has been how your genes influence the way we respond to medications. This type of testing can really transform people's lives. And rather than hearing from me, I'd like to watch a quick case studies of how a young boy's life completely transformed by a simple genetic test.
Jacob has quite complex needs, and so initially he was just finding things very difficult, especially at school. Daily meltdowns, and it was just very hard for him and hard for us as well. Our paediatrician, even though she isn't keen for the medication route, she actually suggested for him to try medication. Initially it worked really well, and then after a couple of months it was doing the opposite of what it should be doing, and our paediatrician suggested DNA testing just to have a look to see what was going on in his body. Once we got the results from the DNA test, showed that the medication that he was on was actually building up in his body. It was becoming toxic in his body. The results showed us that when we saw the specialist, that they could really tailor Jacob's medication for his genetic profile so that they could get exactly the right meds that would work for his body. Jacob was then put on to different medication, and we saw a result straight away as well. He was calmer. He was able to converse more with us, and we had the teachers and aides saying, that this was really helping him at school particularly. Getting these results as a mum has just given us peace of mind with regards to Jacob's medication, because it just tells us what we can give to him, what we can't give to him, and what the doctors and specialists can and can't give to him, and so that's just a load off, because we know that we're not messing about with medication.
Mental health in Australia is a big problem. There are 3 million people in Australia taking antidepressants. That's 1 in every 8 people. And one of the big challenges is when the doctor prescribes an antidepressant, the first medication they give them only works about 50% of the time. And it doesn't need to be this way. What we can now do is use a genetic test that can help find the right medication and the right dose and predict the risk of side effects. So the test covers about 5 important genes which influence about 80% of commonly prescribed antidepressants. So it's a terrific test to help the doctor understand which antidepressants are likely to work and which ones are more prone to side effects. The report itself gives the doctor all the information that they need to change the dose or the drug, including drug recommendations and references to international guidelines which tell us, based on the genetic result, what the right drug and dose should be for that particular patient. So what's the benefit for the patient? Well, I think the number one benefit is it helps the doctor fast track finding the right antidepressant. And that means the patient's going to get better quicker. And that simple change of the drug or the dose based on the genetic information can absolutely transform someone's life for the better.